The Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV begins right now. We weren't all skedaddling out of town and not giving you new content. We're going to have a Seminole Headlines after this past weekend in the game that lies in wait as usual. They're my boys. I see Corey. I see Ira. Register Sausage on board as they're wont to do as well. We love them. Yay, sausage! Guys, going to have any Register Sausage for Thanksgiving?
Ooh, that's a good play. That's a smart play. I think we were going traditional, but maybe in the afternoon, because I know, Corey, I can't remember. You guys an evening Thanksgiving family or early?
Way too late. We eat usually around 5, which I would like to kick that up to about 12:30. But I'm not in control because I don't cook, so I just sit there and wait.
Well, maybe you could have some register for lunch. I may have to do it for breakfast because we do the lunchtime festivities and then just kind of rerun it back around 5 o'clock after I wake up from my coma. But if you guys want your register sausage, you can go to registermeats.com is the website. Or if you live in this part of the country, all the way over west to South Alabama, and now again expanding heavily into Jacksonville. The Jacksonville takeover is happening. I think Ben said over 100 Publixes now in Jacksonville are going to be carrying register sausage. And if you don't see the kind you like, ask for the different varieties that they have them all in the warehouse over there. And if you're part of the state of Florida that doesn't have registers, make a fuss. Do what Jacksonville did. Jacksonville stood up. Be like Jacksonville.
Be like Duval. And also, I would tell people, go ahead and eat some register sausage without cooking it. Eat it raw. That's how good it is. That's Ben's guarantee to all of you that it tastes good even if you don't cook it at all.
And when that person inevitably gets as sick as they will be for eating raw sausage.
I think, isn't it smoked? It's probably okay. It's probably
fine, man. It's been cooked. It's been cooked in some manner.
It's probably fine.
Throw it on the pan for a little while, guys, or the grill. One or the other.
Whatever. If you're going to be a baby, just
got a little queasy there thinking about eating that. But
I got to tell you, Corey, you're right, though. Ira and I are doing it better than you because the afternoon, the noonish, the 1 o'clock-ish, that's the way to go.
Because you got the leftovers waiting for you when it gets dark.
Yes,
you're not eating when it's dark.
Football to watch. You don't have to be chit-chatting all day with people. It's perfect.
I know.
It's really what makes America great, guys. It really is.
Yep.
Yes. Not just eating early, but engorging yourself on turkey and stovetop, as I know you guys love to do.
The gluttony.
Yeah, not stovetop.
I got to tell you, I'm the only guy that loves the cranberry. I love the cranberry sauce.
There's a reason people only eat it one day a year.
Buddy.
Because it sucks.
I had cranberry last week.
Nobody, you always say that, and I want the next time you eat it, like on a random Tuesday.
I'm going to take
a picture because I don't believe you.
I know you don't believe me, but I will buy it. I'm going down the aisles at the Publix, and I'm like, ooh, cranberry.
It's like people drinking eggnog in March.
No, because you can't get eggnog in March.
I would if you could. You can
get cranberries any time of year because they're delicious and they're good for you.
I'll be drinking some eggnog this week on Friday because we always get our tree the day after Thanksgiving. And our tradition is as we decorate the tree, as Kim and the kids decorate the tree,
right. Yeah.
I watch and I drink eggnog. So it's a good time.
You get a little loose, so you put some stuff in your eggnog?
Not usually, man. Not usually.
Oh.
But maybe this year.
After Saturday, throw a little something in there.
I was going to ask Ira if maybe Saturday Florida State gets the win against Florida, and you and I reconvene on the Smash or something Sunday and just drink the hell out of some Don Julio together after all that just happened. I mean, damn it, man. And let me ask you guys a question because we always sit in different places for the game. I'm usually in the stands with my dad, as you would if your dad were still here.
Yeah,
we're alive.
Can't really relate to that, but I guess I'll try to picture it. Corey,
there was a time.
The last time I watched a game with my dad was the 2010 Chick-fil-A Bowl. And then he passed away 8 months later, and he has not been with us since.
They don't usually come back.
No, they don't come back. No, he's still gone.
Once they join that club, they don't usually come back. I think.
So my dad, as we well know, is still with us and comes every week and says hello to you guys and all that good stuff. And we go to the games together. And I've tried to be a good son by going more in the stands with him as opposed to the press box. Because you guys said it correctly. The press box is sterile.
Yes.
Press box kind of sucks. It's not open air. You don't get a feel for the game. and I don't want to have regrets. So I go to the games with him. So this is my point. You know how sometimes when an injury happens, or maybe not an injury, just a fumble, okay? You happen to be looking right at it when it happens, like not the guy making the tackle, not the kid falling, but the ball and the hand that meet and the ball comes out, and you like the first person in your section to be like, oh, no, he fumbled.
Yeah.
Just because you happen to be looking at it. I don't know what it was or why, but, man, I was looking right at his leg when that happened, and I said to my dad, I can't repeat what I said, but I said, I think that's a broken leg.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, what are you talking about? Because you couldn't see from the guys getting up. And I'm like, look at him. He's holding his leg. And it was slow motion. It was awful. Now, what I didn't know was that later on that night when I got home and watched the replay on the CW, that they would show it 47 more times.
It was like the Zapruder film in JFK.
What
back into the left. They kept
guys?
doing it. It was crazy. I mean, I saw it. So I knew it was something not normal with Trey Benson's reaction.
Yeah. Usually
because as Alex Atkins said on Monday, Jordan Travis has been down a good bit in his career. He usually hops back up. You think he's okay. When he didn't hop right back up, and then Trey's reaction, it reminded me of that Louisville basketball game against Duke where the whole bench saw the injury and they jumped off the bench like a buzzer beater had happened because they all, in his reaction to it and how upset he was, I'm like, oh no. And I looked up just in time to see the CW showing it, the first replay of the 12 that they showed, the first one. And I saw the leg go the wrong way. And it's just that pit in your stomach, man. It's one thing to lose him to a knee or to lose him his shoulder, but to see the star quarterback and the kid you've covered for 4 years, his legs snap. It's just gross. It was just awful to see. It's such a gruesome injury for someone.
I'm sorry. I just want to say this. When you say gross, it's more than the physical grotesqueness. It's just gross. Just the thing that this happened.
Yes, right.
This event occurred.
All encompassing.
Not the leg. The leg is, nobody likes to see that. That this happened on that's gross.
I just want to move on. I just want to stop talking about the injury. I just want to not that I want to move on past Jordan Travis. I just want to stop thinking about what happened to that kid's leg. Because again, by the time this airs, we're recording this on Monday. Unusually, by the time this airs, it'll be 3 days later. And
this is airing tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be 3 days after it happened. Is what my point. I just, man. It's almost like feels like though to me. I don't know. I just it's like so much seeing it and then seeing the replays and then like 3 days of time. It's like like the old Saturday Night Live skit with Joe Piscopo, like where they would sit around and talk about something bad happened to you. Oh, I mean, it's like when you get a pencil stuck in your ear, and then it's like, man, all right, okay, I get it.
Went to the Joe Piscopo SNL references.
Look, I don't have new. I don't quote Pete Davidson or whoever. I don't know what do you want me to do.
Who he is? That's cool, man.
I'd rather you quote Piscopo.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I just the whole thing. Man, I was nauseous. I literally was nauseous in the press box. And I didn't want to. When they kept showing the replays, I refused to watch them. And I've
you
done
only
this.
needed to see it one time. You didn't need to see it again and again. Yeah.
And it was interestingly enough, I went back and watched the condensed game on YouTube because they don't have the full game up yet. And on the condensed game, they did leave out that play. Thank you.
Yeah,
ACC
they switched
Network.
right to Tate Rodemaker taking a snap at the 50-yard line, which was a nice thing for them to do.
Yeah,
I asked.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Corey, I asked Ira today on my show just how.
You mean yesterday?
Well, we don't have to. It's not a ruse. I told everybody we're recording a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
We're all getting out of town. It's a holiday week.
Because I'm a pro, when I mentioned Alex Atkins, I said what he said on Monday.
But you didn't need to. We know.
I know.
So listen, when I had Ira on earlier today, which is now
Monday,
Tuesday,
I got you. Yeah. Monday show, I got you.
Yeah. I said I just wanted your initial feeling for how you think Tate's going to play Saturday night.
I think he'll play pretty well, man. When you look around, I don't know that there's another very, very good football team in this country that could lose their starting quarterback and have somebody like Rodemaker behind him. Like, I don't know who Georgia's backup is, but I know he's not a 4-year guy that's, started a game and won 2 other ones. And I don't know Michigan's backup guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think you have you have a kid that has a better arm than your starter did. I mean, we all agree with that. We've all seen it. He does. He has an NFL arm. He has an NFL body. What we don't know is if he can make the decisions that Jordan Travis made routinely, the not bad decisions, the good decisions. He's going to make some great throws. He's also going to make some kind of bizarre decisions because
head scratching. Yeah,
he's probably, I don't know what he is, 22 years old. So he has experience. He's probably run, I don't know, man, he's probably been at 300 Florida State practices in his life. He's thrown up 5,000 passes to these receivers. He's got all that experience, but nothing prepares you for the swamp unless you played in the swamp. And Jordan Travis had played in the swamp. And nothing prepares you for the weight of an 11-0 season unless you've been the quarterback for the first 10. So that's what I wonder about is just the weight of the season on him. But if he doesn't let that bother him, and I have no reason to think he will, if he doesn't let that bother him, I like him. I think I think it helps that they know who he's the quarterback right now, and so they can devise a game plan to do the stuff that Tate does well.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think he's going to play really well. I think I think it helps. Certainly, Mike, like you said, Mike will know certainly what he has to call to cater to his skill set.
Can I bring up something else, Ira, that I want to get your take on? I feel like the quarterback's legs are actually more of a threat now than they've been all season.
I think there's a good chance that he's going to be less reluctant to use them. It is kind of ironic to me, though, that all I've heard for the last 3 or 4 weeks is about how frustrated fans are that they're not using Jordan's legs, that they're not using him. That's when the offense is really dynamic. We have to use his legs. Why aren't they using his legs? Why aren't they using his legs? Because I wrote about it last week in the 3-2-1. Guys, I don't think they're going to do this intentionally until they get into an ACC championship game, or if they had to against Florida, or in the college football playoff. At that point, yes, they will use his legs. They don't want him to get hurt. And then they get in that situation in that game where he does use his legs, and now everybody's mad that he used his legs. And I got it. But you guys have been wanting him to use his legs for – not seeing you guys. I'm just saying fans. They've wanted him to use his legs the whole season, and this is kind of why you didn't. Not that anything like that would happen, but injuries can happen. So
they're mad. Yeah. They're mad you couldn't line up and blow North Alabama off the ball.
Yeah, I think in anger, and it was in anger I had, quite honestly, in the second quarter sitting next to you is he felt like he had to go make a play because they couldn't do diddly poo on offense the first 2 drives, and the defense gave up those 2 touchdowns. And he should have never – late in the first quarter of a game against North Alabama, ever felt like I need to pull the ball to get this offense going. That's what frustrated me is that
that's
never
fair,
a million years should have been. But
would it have made it better? Or it could have happened 2 weeks ago.
That's what I was going to say.
Against Syracuse.
I think that's just the frustrating part is that he did decide to pull it and run against that team. And obviously you wish he would have slid right into that kid's groin. Instead of how it ended up happening. But going back to Rodemaker, I do think his legs will be a factor in this game. He doesn't make people miss in the pocket like Jordan Travis. He is not going to avoid sacks and free rushers like Jordan Travis could. But I feel like the zone read and the QB keep around the edge, I think you're going to get more out of that with the quarterback this game than you have all year because Jordan Travis was averaging 16 yards a game rushing. He just wasn't a factor with his legs. I feel like maybe this frees up that aspect of the running game to be more of a factor.
It also would be an effective way to neutralize the aggressiveness of Florida early and get Tate into the game.
Yeah.
Like I think you'd like to be able to do that with a kid who hasn't started a game in a long time, right? Just kind of get him into the flow of the game. And you can do that, especially with what I think will be a very aggressive Florida defense, charged by that crowd at night, trying to make a play early, trying to rattle him. And you pull that and you show that he can run. Now, we all know he can. He can run. He's not Jordan Travis. Nobody is. But he can run. He's not a bad athlete.
Yeah.
He can do backflips.
Yeah, and he's made plays with his legs before. Yeah. So I think they will run him some, or at least get him out of the pocket.
Yeah, to me, I think it'll look a little different. Like, I don't know if it's more quarterback draws. I mean, I don't know how dynamic he is horizontally. But, yeah, man, if you drop him back and he takes off like the run against Louisville, the run the other night, I mean, he straight line running. Yeah. I mean, he is extremely fast for a quarterback. So I think that definitely could be a weapon. The other thing is part of the reason, we've talked about wanting Jordan to use his legs, and I know everybody's wanted that, is because of what it does. It loosens up the defense in terms of, now it brings changes their numbers, and it also creates opportunities in the passing game, because if they're worried about Jordan possibly running, now that they have to bring a safety down into the box. Well, the other way you can loosen up a run defense is by throwing the football and throwing it down the field and using every inch of that field in the passing game. And that's what Tate gives you, man. I think from that standpoint, I'm excited to see what Norvell and the staff do with those receivers and those tight ends and a kid with that arm at quarterback. There's going to be a lot of pressure on that Florida defense. It's not a situation where they could just, pin their ears back and assume he can kill you with the throw.
Challenges every part of the field. Like coordinators talk about the quadrants, and that is absolutely true. Like you have to defend the whole field with a kid with his arm. The whole thing is, can they block it up? It's really been the problem for the last 5 to 6 weeks. Can they block it up? They've had a bunch of injuries up front. A lot of guys that have played have had to play hurt. Some of the guys have been somewhat disappointing in my estimation. So it's frustrating, but maybe if you loosen them up early by getting the ball out of his hands quick, and then later on, you're able to kind of extend the field. Yeah, listen, people should be excited. It's funny because it's almost as if I've had some fans kind of say this, and I've had to kind of be tiptoe around the subject a little bit. Like, just because you're excited to see Tate doesn't mean you think it's an upgrade over Jordan. It's just they have different skill sets, and you're excited to see it. And you're allowed to say that. I'm excited to see Tate Rodemaker run this passing offense. He makes some throws that are different than Jordan. Jordan has a larger skill set. We know that. But damn, Tate can throw the ball as well as anybody, and I want to see it because he's got a lot of weapons.
Norvell even actually, there's a quote. I just posted a story as we were getting ready to record this. Norvell's, one of his quotes on Monday was, he goes, this is terrible for Jordan. We feel terrible about it. But he said, quote, "I'm excited to see what we do now." And that is, man, this is football. And it's a team, and this is a team that's kind of built around that motto of, it isn't about one guy. It is about the team. And I think he's excited. I think we all should be excited to see what it looks like.
I also think there's an element of, and I think it's true in this case, not like what's happening in Ann Arbor. Nobody believes in Florida State anymore. They're people are talking about even if they go undefeated, they wouldn't get in. Nonsense like that. I think the expectations of them winning a national championship went from here to way down here. And it's them. It really is kind of just them, like that. Nobody believes in them anymore. And I think that could be a healthy, when you're 11-0, going to play a 5-6 team, and you're the one that feels like disrespected and let's go show everybody. I think that could be a pretty cool place to be in.
And honestly, if we can all be honest about this, and we brought it up in different ways over the last few weeks, but I've at least pushed it aside from the idea of, okay, when they need to turn it back on, they will. Like, it had felt a little stagnant, the last few weeks. I mean, they didn't look as dynamic against Miami as we probably thought they would. They've continued to win. They've been in good position, but they haven't. I don't know. It hasn't felt like maybe there's an edge to the way they played the last few weeks, and this, man, it really could. I mean, we'll see. Maybe it doesn't work out the way we think it will, but you'd think there's a good chance it will bring them all together. To Corey's point, now they are all they've got, and they will come. I think they will come together.
Yeah, I think it's a galvanizing thing. I don't know how it couldn't be in a weird way. I mean, you got to want to finish for that kid. Jordan put out the social media posts, and I would think if I'm a player who loves that kid, we can go finish this thing off, finish an undefeated regular season, beat our rivals, and go win the ACC championship. I would think so. Seminole Headlines, 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
222-7722. AC and electric is what we do. Service, repairs, and installation too. 222-7722. Parker Services. Comfort's just a call away.
Invest in a peak performance membership and you'll buy peace of mind in knowing that you're extending the life of your system and probably saving money on your power bill too. The program includes comprehensive tune-ups that keep your system running at its maximum efficiency. And peak performance members get many benefits, including priority service. Members jump to the front of the line when their comfort system fails, and a 15% discount on all parts. The peak performance membership pays for itself over and over again. Call today and have peace of mind. And now offering electrical services too.
Parker Services. Comfort's just a call away.
Florida license number CMC 050334.
Orthopedic pain and injury deserves effective treatment options now, so you feel better fast. Whether you have joint pain that won't subside or an urgent orthopedic injury, We are the specialists to get you back on your feet. And there's only one thing better than fast care: expert care. We believe you deserve both. TOC, only experts. Learn more at teamtoc.com.
Ethics rocks. Join us on December 6th for an unforgettable evening of music and fun in support of the Florida Ethics Institute at the first annual Ethics Rocks benefit concert at Goodwood Museum and Gardens.
The Ethics Rocks benefit concert is all about combining our love for music with our commitment to advancing ethics through education. So grab your friends, put on your dancing shoes, and come on down to enjoy some incredible live performances from the Nitro Groundshakers and our headliner, the Rockets.
All funds raised will be used to support FEI's educational mission. VIP and general admission tickets are on sale now at floridaethics.org/ethics-rocks. That's floridaethics.org/ethics-rocks.
Don't miss all the fun. It's the annual Ethics Rocks benefit concert December 6th at the Goodwood Museum and Gardens, featuring some of Tallahassee's favorite local bands, the Nitro Groundshakers and the Rockets.
Get your tickets today at floridaethics.org/ethics-rocks.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Man, I just got a text from my wife. She wants me to cook dinner and then snuggle on the couch next to a roaring fire.
So what's the problem, Dave? You already got the new grill, and you're a great cook.
I got one major problem. We don't have a fireplace.
Man, that's an easy fix. Just call Hearth and Patio. They got a lot of fireplaces that can help you for your romantic evenings. Wood, gas, electric, and a ton of different sizes, man. Call Hearth and Patio today, 850-727-4282, or visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio. Ignite that spark in your life.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Yeah, so we were talking before the break that, you know, it has been a little stagnant, a little flat. I think it's just the inconsistency of the play, because offensively, I think they're really burdened by what they have up front right now. And I do want to see what Mike does, I guess, from a game plan standpoint, to kind of ensure that Tate isn't sitting there staring down a bunch of rushers, because the offensive line's overwhelmed by numbers here early on. And I also want to see which guys start. They've been all kinds of beat up, so let's see who's in this starting lineup. I know the depth chart came out, and we can always look at that, but that doesn't always tell the whole story. I am curious to see who starts down there in Gainesville, because if you have all of your weapons, this could be a huge tight end game. Florida's linebackers have been awful in coverage. Yeah. The more I watch them, the more I think, man, if you want to make it easy on your quarterback who's getting his first start of the year, throw to the tight end being covered by linebackers, especially since your tight ends are better than most people's tight ends.
Yeah, I think when you look at, and you said that's the depth chart doesn't always give us a great idea. It literally gives us no idea. Right. I mean, I think Robert Scott's Robert Scott's listed as a starter, I think, all year, and I don't know if he's played 100 snaps all season, barely. But this game will be interesting, because I thought there was a comment that Alex Atkins said on Monday, Corey. That I thought it was kind of intriguing. He basically said that Robert Scott's available, but they wanted to give him another week. That's the way I heard it. Yeah. They want to give him another week to get healthy. And I've been curious about that, because I have seen him practice. And, you know, we're out there and he's been practicing, and it's been weird to me that they haven't given him a chance to really play. So I'm curious, man. I wonder if you break out old Robert Scott, it would be nice to bring in a second team all ACC offensive tackle out of this game. Now, he hasn't played a lot, but he has played in practice. So we'll see. But the biggest thing with Darius at center, I thought Darius was fine at center blocking, but he's just got to get the snaps back there, man. You can't. It was really unfortunate for Tate to have to sit there and wait on those snaps, and then now look up and see the field. So if that gets better, I can live with Darius at center. He just has to get the snaps back quicker.
Well, and the reality is Darius at center right now is better than Maurice because Maurice isn't right. You know what I mean?
From a blocking standpoint. Yeah.
But that's what he's a better blocker right now because Maurice is just not right. So it probably makes your offensive line better if the snaps get back there quicker and maybe a little higher. Darius, you got all week, buddy. Work on that stuff. I want you to just snap at Thanksgiving dinner. Just try to knock stuff off the table with it. Like, really work on
yard and snap off the trees. Let's go. Make it happen.
You think you could snap a cranberry sauce out of the can?
Yeah, I'm going to hold a can of the deliciousness that is cranberry. You snap this ball right off this can, son.
Knock the lid off.
Let's
Knock the lid off so I can eat it. Yeah, man. Dude, just practice, Darius. Practice. Get it back there quicker. And he's a bigger target, old Tate. You can get it up a little higher. Target. He's 6'4". He's probably got a wingspan of almost 7 feet. Just get it up there quick.
I do think if they get off to a good start here, the offense will keep rolling. Florida will have a little bit of that. Here we go again. What belief would Florida's defense possibly have that they're going to get a stop? They haven't had a game yet where they've stopped anybody with any degree of consistency. So
they got Missouri to a 4th and 17 on that final drive, Jeff. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Did give up 20 on that 4th and 17.
They did.
And that felt more in line with who they were.
Yes, correct.
The giving up of the 4th and 17.
Yeah, their defense, I mean, the last 5 games, I think they're giving up 42 points a game in the last 5 games. And, the LSU game got way out of whack with 700 yards of offense.
But remember what Kentucky did to them in September when they just ran all over them.
Yeah. Well, that's not Florida State.
That's not going to happen. But I guess the point is they can get beat on defense a number of different ways.
Correct.
Is what they've proven. It's a bummer, man. If I just think I was talking to Aslan about this on Wake Up. Like, if Jordan Travis was going into this game against Florida's backup quarterback, I would bet all my money on Florida State. There would just be no way that Jordan Travis would lose to that kid and that team in that moment. Tate's just more of a wild card because we don't know. We all believe he's going to play well, but we don't know. I know going down to Florida, Jordan Travis was not going to have a 3-interception game. I know it. He just doesn't do that. He has 2 interceptions all year. You don't know until you know with Tate Rodemaker. But the silver lining to me, and I wanted to get your guys' opinion on this, is, look, man, Jordan isn't coming back. There is an open QB spot next year. Jeff, is this an audition? I think this is an audition for Tate Rodemaker. The next 3 games are an audition for him.
How could it not be, though? How could it not be, right? He's trying to fight off Brock Glenn, who everybody loves, and when we see he's electrifying whenever he's out there. I mean, he's a physically gifted kid. This is your opportunity. Tate goes out here and whoops Florida's ass and dominates Louisville, and they go to the playoff and he plays well? Yeah, he's going to go into camp as the leader.
But also think about what that would do. Say he averages like 280 yards passing, looks competent, looks very good.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a guy in the portal that's like, who's going to be their quarterback? Well, he knows who the quarterback's going to be, and he's got proof to see it. And so does a kid that's maybe the number 1 recruit in the country that wants to make sure he's going to play with a good quarterback. They'll get to see what Florida State has next year. You know what I mean? I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, he was going to play with a new quarterback regardless. But yes, I know what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. You didn't know about Tate. We'll know about Tate. These next 3 games with all the weapons he has at tight end and wide receiver, we're going to know what Tate is going into 2024, which I think is a good thing.
I guess, except for the fact that if you put pressure on him to where you feel like he has to do something special in these games, here's my chance to win this job, and I've got to go try to win this job, and now I try to do things that are beyond maybe what I should be doing. That can be a bad thing.
I don't think he'll do that. I think he's just trying to win the game.
Well, that's those are 2 separate mentalities, buddy. I mean, like, is it an open audition where you're trying to win the job next year, or is it I'm just trying to win the game?
I'm just saying it serves as an audition for Norvell, and it serves as an audition for the coaching staff to know what Tate is. They would never tell him that, and I don't think it would be framed like that. But if he goes and falls on his face on Saturday night and then doesn't play well against Louisville, well, yeah, his chance to secure the job is gone. He can still go win it. But, these are big games in the career of Tate Rodemaker, clearly, and I think he knows that, whether there's those expectations of next season or not weighed on him.
He's been here a long time.
I just think if I'm a coaching staff, the last thing I want Tate to think about is these games are about you trying to win the job next year.
Well, I don't think to Corey's point, they would never say that.
No, I'm talking about it as a talk
media
show.
Thing we can talk about.
It's a talk show that we would talk about. I don't think Tate would think about. I hope he's not thinking about that at all. But I do think that's the reality of the situation. Is you will go into 2024 now, knowing if Tate Rodemaker is good enough to be your starting quarterback, and if he's good, like good, you'll know that after these. He's going to play at Florida, an ACC championship game, and at worst a New Year's Six bowl game. Like we're going to know a lot about Tate Rodemaker that we don't know yet.
I don't disagree with that. I get what Ira's point is. It's tough though. If you're that kid, you can't not know though, Ira. I mean, I hope he doesn't think about it that way, but the reality of high pressure, high stakes football at this level is that you're always in competition. You're getting a chance to start a really important game or two or three. If you don't play well, you know that you didn't do yourself any favors, but he's just got to think about making the next play. And I'm sure Mike's going to call the game in a way that sets him up for success. You know, he's going to cater to what he can do or not do. I don't want him worried about that either, but I don't know how you can't think about it.
You don't want him to play so well that he enters the draft. So that's
the other side of it, right, Corey? That he could go.
That's what we're not talking about.
Yards against Florida's defense.
Yeah. Then what?
I don't think that. I think that if he goes and plays well against Florida, it'll be partly because he's got a lot of weapons. It's a veteran team, and Florida's defense is terrible. How does he handle the next thing from there? But we do know this: anybody getting a chance in a high-profile situation like this. If you win that game, all that does is infuse a ton of confidence.
Yeah.
You marry that confidence with the ability he already has as a good athlete with a big arm, and he's not thinking about competition. He's thinking about kicking ass and winning games and trying to win the ACC championship.
Yeah, man, if I'm Billy Napier or that coaching staff, I'm not real fired up to face Tate Rodemaker after watching him throw the other night. And he made some ridiculous throws in that game. He has got a cannon. That ball gets on receivers quickly.
You could tell they were a little bit, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, it gets there quickly. It's going to be hard for those guys to close on the ball. So again, it's just, to me, it's all about helping Tate just make sure he doesn't try to do too much and make some mistakes that keep Florida in the game. Because if he just plays within the offense, man, I think he's going to play really, really well.
It's unique. That's what I was talking about at the beginning of the show is that they hear Jordan Travis broke his leg. And they're like, they know who Tate Rodemaker is, but they haven't watched much film of him. They're like, oh, well, Florida State's down to their second string quarterback. Let's turn on this film and see what this slappy looks like. Oh, wait, no, he's got a better arm than Jordan Travis. He's a fast kid. He's big, and he's been there 4 years. It's not quite the same as what Adam Fuller is doing right now with Florida's backup quarterback. Like, Florida is going to have to completely change their offense, in my opinion. That kid's more of a runner. He's thrown 12 or 8 passes in his career, and he just doesn't have the experience, and it's a huge game for him. And I know he played pretty well against Missouri there at the end, but that's a very, very small sample size. And a couple of his completions, he just threw it up to kids. He's going to have to make some plays that he's never made in a game before.
Go ahead. Well, I was just going to say, think about these other teams Florida State has played when they've had to bring in backup quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Over the last couple of years, what it's looked like. I mean, nobody's rolling a Tate Rodemaker off the bench. So, again, man, if I'm Norvell, I thought he looked very confident today, and I think he should be.
It'd be interesting. I think Florida, you're right, Corey, we'll have to change the offense and I would if I were them, I would attack Florida State's defense with Max as a runner. He's 6'2", 225. You're right. He's thrown 12 passes. He's 10 of 12. He's been accurate, but he's carried the ball, whatever it is, 8 times for like 40-something yards. And so, but he's a thick kid. I would run him around and try to attack Florida State's defense that way. And if I'm Fuller, I'm stacking it and saying, you got one weapon. You got one guy that's a stud, and that guy came into Tallahassee last year and caught everything in the first half. I'm going to force that kid to make throws because I'm trying to shut this run game down. I think the only way Florida's in this game is if they run the ball against Florida State's defense, whether that's the quarterback or those running backs. They do have 2 talented running backs, and we certainly know what ATN is, and they figured out how to use him. This Florida offense is not terrible. I don't know what it's going to be with him, with Max Brown, but it's not terrible.
No, man, Pearsall's good, and then number 3, the freshman, is really good. He needs to go ahead and get up out of there after this season. This will be his last game in the swamp. But, they got 2 good receivers, and they've got 2, as Fuller and Norvell both described them, as NFL running backs. And this kid is a mobile kid, but he's not Jaden Daniels or Castellanos, my man Castellanos. He's not that kind of mobile. If he gets outside, he can. He kind of reminds me of Schrader when Schrader was right. Bigger kid, thicker kid, but when he gets going, can really move. But I don't think he's one of those quick. What do we call him?
Quick twitch.
Quick twitch. Good grief! I was going to say quick fiber. That's
you could say quick fiber.
Mixing my metaphor. I've had quick fiber.
Quick twitch.
It's my smoothies give me quick fiber. Yeah, so he's not one of those guys that's going to make you miss in space, probably. But he's a threat. He's certainly more of a mobility threat than Mertz was. But I guess my point, going back to what I was trying to say, is I think Florida State got a break. I could be completely wrong, but Florida State got a break with Mertz not playing. And I think Florida got a break that Travis isn't playing.
You think?
But I don't think the discrepancy is as big between the two sets of quarterbacks. Like, I think the difference between Travis and Rodemaker is less than the difference between Mertz and what Max Brown, because Max Brown again has thrown 12 passes in his career. You know what I mean?
Tate's certainly more experienced. Yes.
Yeah, the ceiling wasn't as high for Mertz either. I mean, Mertz has played well, but again, Jordan Travis. If both quarterbacks were healthy, Florida State was going to have the edge in quarterback. I think they're still going to have the edge in quarterback.
Right. I guess that, yes, right, correct. They will. I think they will. We'll see. Maybe this kid's the next. He's a right-handed Tebow.
Oh, don't bring it up. Don't speak it into existence.
Sorry.
Yeah. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in just a moment.
I'm Greg Tisch, and I'm here to tell you about TCC's first semester. In the fall of 1966, about 300 students were expected to enroll at the brand new Tallahassee Junior College. A total of 698 enrolled, exceeding everyone's expectations. The campus was not finished, though, so classes took place in Rickards High School and then Godby High School. Today, TCC has 7 campuses and enrolls around 15,000 students annually.
TCC thanks our community for 58 years of support. We look forward to moving into the future together.
This is Dr. James Ryan Finn at Finn Chiropractic. In Florida, we have hurricanes, and we can predict these storms just like we can predict your health. The early warning signs of a bad health storm include neck pain, back pains, headaches. Before it turns into a catastrophic Cat 5, get in to let us get to the cause of your problem at Finn Chiropractic. Go to finnchiro.com for our online special at FENNCHIRO.com. That's Finn Chiropractic, FENNCHIRO.com, because your chiropractor loves you and there's nothing you can do about it.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
You guys curious at all? And I thought Florida State was going to fall to 5 no matter what if Washington beat Oregon State on the road, which they did. And now if Florida State falls to 5, a lot of paranoid Florida State fans will think it's because of the injury to Jordan Travis. I thought they were going to fall either way, and I wasn't really worried about it, because I figured if Florida State won out, and then eventually you get the loser of this Saturday's game between Michigan and Ohio State, you're going to be all right. Washington and Oregon got to play each other in the Pac-12 championship. There's a lot of things that still have to happen. I thought Florida State would get back in there either way. What do you think the committee does now that Jordan Travis is out?
Well, I think it'll be 5. I do expect them to be 5. It's a good win for Washington, man. And they've had a great year. They've had a great year. I would think if you look at their resume and where they've won and who they beat, it's better than Florida State's. So they deserve to be ranked ahead of Florida State.
They also deserve to be ahead of Michigan, as does Florida State.
Correct. Yeah, they deserve to be ahead of everybody but Georgia, in my opinion, quite honestly. What's Ohio State's best win?
Yeah, Notre Dame or Penn State, not good.
Notre Dame, really? You know what I mean? Like, great, you beat Notre Dame, awesome.
Well, the reality is, it's like Washington's got some ugly wins too. Like they've looked like garbage in some games. So I think Florida State's been penalized for that, and I think Washington should be penalized for that too. I'm not disagreeing with you guys, but Washington, at least 2 or 3 times, they did not look like a top 5 team in the country, and that's kind of the negative you hear about Florida State before Jordan's injury.
Yeah. But I think what people listening to this and watching this are wondering is, okay, what if Florida State does go 13-0? Are they going to be leapfrogged if Alabama beats Georgia Are Alabama and Georgia both going to get in, and Florida State's left out because the committee doesn't think they can win with Tate Rodemaker at quarterback? To which I say, I almost would stop. I would want to stop watching the sport if that were the case. That is so stupid. I brought it up on Wake Up Warchant. You guys remember when Tyler Hansborough got punched in the face by Gerald Henderson at one of those Duke Carolina games? North Carolina was the #1 seed in the country. Their best player just got his nose broke and had to wear a mask and wasn't nearly the same player. Did the committee make North Carolina an 8 seed? No, you rank people on what they've done, not what you project them to do. That makes no sense. And if Florida State goes and beats Florida with a backup quarterback and then goes and beats a top 10 Louisville team with a backup quarterback,
they're going to be in. They're going to be in.
I get it, but it angers me that it even becomes part of this conversation as if that's a normal way to adjudicate a sport.
No, it's not. And college football's always been flawed with the way they crown their champion. We know
the way they think, the way the national media even thinks about this to even entertain it bothers me.
I also wonder how much, before we got on, I looked on our site and we had an article from Feinbaum saying that Florida State's a fraud, whatever. It's like, man, are we going to do this forever? Do we have to fall for this stuff over and over and over?
Don't. The answer is you don't.
They just want your clicks. That's
correct.
All they want is your.
Well, I would say
definition of clickbait. That is correct.
The difference here is that Florida State fans have lived it. They were an undefeated team that were ranked behind 2 one-loss teams the last time they were in this conversation. So this isn't just.
Well, but I got you. I understand what you're saying, and I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility. I'm just saying the trolling that goes on from some of these people in the national media, at some point you just have to not just keep giving them what they want.
Great advice. Like you can't live in that world. They can't wait to feed that to you. They can't wait to give you that poison. That show, it's a television show. They sold advertising for that show. They have got to get people to watch and listen to that nonsense. And they'll bring people on who will say, and I feel like they just hand out notes beforehand. Hey, this is your turn to say something crazy. All right, next week you get Joey Galloway. You get to say something crazy next week, and then next week it's you, Paul, and then and those people don't even believe what they're being told to say in that situation. Like, here's your plausible argument to say that Texas should be #1. Go ahead, here, make your case, and we'll all laugh at you and say, "Well, that's crazy." And then tomorrow, everybody will go, "Did you hear what so and so said?" Like that's what they do. But I don't think you want to set the precedent of a Power 5 team, who, by the way, doesn't have a terrible resume, going undefeated, getting hot by a team like Alabama, who is a good football team. But let's say they beat Georgia. That's the same Alabama team that lost by 2 touchdowns at home, and the same Alabama team that had to skirt by USF's sorry ass. The whole resume matters. You couldn't do that. That's an undefeated Florida State team, and it sucks they lost their quarterback. And does it mean they can't win the national championship? Probably. But you can't just decide, well, we don't think they can. That's not how this works.
Well, I was just going to say real quick, I also think that if there's any shred of concern, it would be that if Florida State went out and just looked pretty bad in these next 2 games, but still somehow won. You know, if you slop around with Florida and you end up winning the game 14-10 because both teams are just terrible, and then you go and do the same thing against Louisville, maybe then if Alabama looks amazing as they beat Georgia, and maybe there's a way it works out, but I just think as long as you play pretty well and you win these games, I think the end of the day, that's what's going to carry the day.
Because, at the end of the day, if Louisville does what they should do this weekend, they're going to be 11-1. They're going to and they beat Notre Dame. Ohio State's a great win. They beat Notre Dame a hell of a lot worse than Ohio State did. Louisville's a good team. And, LSU, LSU's going to finish 9-3. So they'll have beaten 2 top 12-ish teams, both at neutral sites. And they would have won at Clemson, the only team to do that this year. Like, the resume will be as good as Michigan's. It just will be. Michigan will have 1 win at home over Ohio State. That's their only impressive win all season. Maybe at Penn State, I guess. I don't want to, no matter what happens these next 2 weeks, man, this has been a good season. It's been an awesome, fun season. And I want people, I guess I shouldn't even care. I think the people watching this and listening to this have really enjoyed this season. They didn't enjoy the first quarter Saturday night, but they have really enjoyed this season. And every game gives you something cool, man. The 13 team swarming Toafili was awesome. The block kick running back on the final play because I almost cursed there. McGee decided to kick a field goal down by 40. That was awesome. You've gotten so many of those cool moments this year.
And that won't be taken away. And I don't think, and I do believe, look, I think all three of us do this. I think anybody who's passionate, but especially anybody who works in the media, and we get bombarded all the time by the negativity that's on a social media outlet or the negativity that's on a message board or the negativity about aspects. Look, I think there's a difference between saying this team has flaws and I think they were going to get beat in the playoffs, but that's totally different than saying, look, I haven't enjoyed this. How could you not enjoy a team that's 11-0? How could you not enjoy a team that's way ahead of schedule? I mean, Florida State is positioning themselves now to be a perennial playoff team over the next 10 years. Mike's got this program humming. They've got a top 3 class in the country coming in right now. Nothing about that's changing because Jordan Travis got hurt. Now, maybe you can't win the national title. My personal opinion is they probably weren't going to win the national title. But, hey, if they go 12-0, 13-0, who in the world's upset about the final loss of the year whenever it comes?
Let me ask you guys this, because for whatever reason, there has been when we talk about the national narrative and probably even some people in the Florida State fan base have felt like, this team maybe hasn't reached its full expectations. Like we haven't seen since what we saw in the second half against LSU looks so amazing. There's been this feeling that Florida State's kind of underachieved a little bit. That's been kind of the narrative nationally. And I think some fans feel that way. If they go out there and Tate plays really well and they start winning in these circumstances where you've lost a Heisman Trophy contender at quarterback and you continue to win, and if Tate plays well and you win these next 2 games, I think you could end up becoming like the positive story, like the story that everybody's kind of rallying around. Look at these guys. Look at this kid, Tate Rodemaker. I mean, we'll see how it plays out, but I think that's a scenario that could happen.
100%.
Right.
100% you could become the nation's darling of the playoff, because who wants to root for Georgia again? Sweet
Nobody.
Jesus.
Or Alabama. Or nobody's rooting for
Michigan.
Yeah. And Harbaugh in Michigan? Impossible. Like, listen, I think Oregon is fairly likable. Washington's fairly likable. It's kind of cool the years they're having in the final season of the Pac-12. Like, you could root for somebody like that. You ain't rooting for Michigan. You're not rooting for Alabama. You're not rooting for Georgia. Florida State's been away for a while, and that kid, everybody likes Jordan Travis. You haven't heard a negative word said about Jordan Travis. The nation saw that. Well, I don't know. It was on CW. But, people have seen the replays of him getting hurt. They know he's out for the year. All of a sudden, Florida State's given no chance to go and, win in the playoffs. Yeah, I think most of the country would be like, I'm kind of rooting for that kid, man. Wouldn't that be cool if that guy won?
Upstart Florida State.
Yeah.
It'd be like this year's TCU, man.
The thing is, that TCU team, I think we all kind of secretly looked at each other like, man, this is
Michigan
this is
blew that. Yeah, but also, I want to get to a point, Ira, after the Louisville game, we're going to be asking ourselves, should Tate have been starting all along?
I saw you laughing before you finished the sentence just because you knew how he was going to react, and that would be great. Because
that would be awesome if we're there and we're like, man, Rodemaker just keeps throwing for 4 bills and run it for 100. Norvell's been starting the wrong guy the whole time.
I'm not even gonna entertain that idea, my friend. That's just fun for you to say.
But I also, and I know you guys would appreciate this. Both Norvell and Atkins both said, and Ira, they're direct quotes, right? Tate doesn't get enough credit for being a good athlete. He's a better athlete than you think.
Oh, there it is.
I love it. Feed that into my veins, man.
You had a white coach and a black coach say it. So
it took me back in time when Coach Bowden would say that about Xavier Lee and Christian Ponder. Ponder, he's better.
Ponder runs better than you might think. Yeah.
Or Weatherford.
Yeah.
I'll say the same thing about that Clemson running back. Shipley, he's a better athlete than you think.
He's also kind of a coach on the field, Corey.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. He's both, Jeff. He's both. He's a coach on the field and like a really good athlete.
Headliner questions coming your way. Hour number 2 coming up. Stay with.
Hello, I'm Dana Brooks.
And I'm Jimmy Basic.
Traffic cameras are everywhere, providing valuable evidence if you've been in an accident.
But if you can't access that evidence, it could just be your word against theirs.
Basic Brooks is partnered with Roadproof to have access to all their traffic camera footage. If you've been hurt in an accident, give us a call and we'll find out if the proof you need is out there.
Let us find your video evidence so you can come back stronger. Call us now at 850-777-7777.
So everybody everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chunglo, as I call it.
The bungalow chung.
Hey, headliners, Ira here. We had the idea a little while ago to start selling Headlines merch for the best podcast listeners in the world. That's you guys. But I had no idea where to get started. That's why I'm so glad we found Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. Whether you're a startup using your man cave or you're IPO ready, Shopify is the only tool you'll need to grow your business without all the struggle. Shopify puts you in control of every sales channel. You could be selling satin sheets from Shopify's in-person point-of-sale system or offering Yay Sausage t-shirts from Shopify's all-in-one e-commerce platform. And once you've reached your audience, Shopify has the internet's best converting checkout to help you turn them from browsers into buyers. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the United States. What I love about Shopify is how no matter how big you want to grow, Shopify gives you everything you need to take control and take your business to the next level. This is possibility powered by Shopify.
Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/warchant. All lowercase. Go to shopify.com/warchant in lowercase now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/warchant.
Where this might be headed, give me a call at 850-900-5200 and schedule a time for a risk-focused portfolio review. Or you can visit us on our website at trektlh.com. That's trektlh.com.
Make Jamie your first call for that second opinion. Investment advisory services offered through Trek Financial, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3 WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee.
Get early access to Macy's Black Friday specials and save big on gifts for everyone on your list right now while supplies last. Like winter-ready women's sweaters, $12.99 to $19.99. Fine jewelry, 60 to 75% off. And cozy up to comfy throws, just $9.99 to $39.99. Plus, get your online order even faster with store pickup, now at Macy's. Savings off sale and clearance prices, exclusions apply.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
There's no doubt that buying a home can feel overwhelming, especially if it's your first home. You're worried about location, school zones, square footage, inspections, insurance, loan approvals, interest rates, and of course, the price. Buying a home could be the most significant investment you've ever made. But there's good news. You have our friends at Legendary Home Loans, and they're on your side and in your corner. They're going to go to bat for you. Shannon Young from Legendary Home Loans can help first-time home buyers get up to $25,000 for your down payment. For first responders, veterans, teachers, military, and healthcare workers, and that's not all, Shannon is an expert navigator of the home loan terrain, and you can trust that he's going to get you the most competitive interest rates and guide you through the process every step of the way. Plus, Shannon will also get your closing costs reduced. It's the Hometown Heroes program at Legendary Home Loans. Give them a call today, 844-FSU-LOAN. That's 844-FSU-LOAN. Or go to FSUHomeLoans.com and ask for Shannon Young.
NMLS number 2270-146.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV, holiday week. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And our thanks to Birch Orthodontics, best in the business, right? Dr. Birch and her crew, making it possible for you to kind of eat with reckless abandon.
You can gnaw on the bone.
Yeah, get after that turkey, however you want, buddy. Your teeth are okay if you're at Birch Orthodontics. And
somebody's going to call Dr. Birch on Friday morning for an emergency appointment because they gnawed on the bone of their turkey like the Seminole Headlines guys told them they could.
Or if they ate raw sausage, like Corey said that they
can't
they're
get
calling
out of
doctors everywhere.
Yeah, they're not calling Dr. Birch for that.
No,
Dr. Birch can fix a lot of things. I'm not sure she can fix botulism or whatever.
No, that's a toughie. That's a toughie. Dr. Birch Orthodontics. You see the number on your screen, or they can go where? Ira, to the website?
Yeah, the website, birchorthodontics.com, BURCH, orthodontics.com. And again, we're not telling you to sign up just on what we say, but go on, set up the free consultation, go down and sit with Dr. Birch, her staff, let them consult and look at your probably your child's mangled teeth. We're going to assume they're mangled because
alien-like.
Most 10-year-olds have pretty mangled
direction.
teeth.
Yeah.
And they'll take care of you and do a great job. And tell them that we sent you, and talk a little Florida State sports because they love the Noles down there also.
And the first set of braces is free, right, for a family, Ira? Isn't that if you tell them that Seminole Headlines sent you?
Yeah,
not true. That's not true.
Well, two of the first 4 kids in your family, you don't
are free. Yeah. It's a BOGO. It's essentially a BOGO.
Put them on Corey's tab.
Yeah.
Burke writes, do you think the 2.5 quarters versus Louisville last year gave Tate the confidence needed to perform consistently at QB1 level? Or are you guys nervous about his mentality going into these next 4 games, is what he says.
There you go. Yeah, 4 games. Yeah, 4 games. That's right.
4 games.
I would, I think, yes, I do think what he did in Louisville, man, you can't overstate how important that is for somebody's psyche, because back then, remember, we talked him up all August, kind of starting in the spring. And then the spring game, he throws a pick on that 2-point conversion play to start the spring practice, which was
also poorly handled by Mike Norvell and staff, running 2-point conversions to start the spring game.
And everybody thinks
win with the team knows what's coming. But anyhow,
and then we talked him up in August, and then in the Duquesne game, I feel like he did something. He threw a pick or didn't look good.
It didn't look very good.
Didn't look like himself. And then he goes into Louisville and throws the worst interception of the season by any ACC quarterback, probably. And you're like, okay, well, this kid just can't do it under the lights.
Yeah.
The talent is there. He can't do it under the lights. And then he proved to everyone, including himself, it was 1 half, that he could do it. And I don't want to like dismiss what he did Saturday night. Like that was a weird, awful time to go into a football game. And they were down by 2 scores. I know it was to a terrible team, but they were down by 2 scores, and the place was a funeral. And then he did what he did and helped them run off 58 straight points. I think that was an experience that should embolden him too.
Yeah, I also think this will be the first time in his college career, really. I mean, the only other time was Jacksonville State, but he had been here like 2 months. And so, I mean, that situation also was ridiculous.
Also, the worst interception I've ever seen. But
that was also a bad one too. Yeah,
and also a terrible play call. I hated everything about that whole situation.
3rd and long, just make a play.
Backed up at your goal line.
yeah,
air it out, Tate.
Guys, remember we're talking about the 2020 Jacksonville State.
Yeah, that was a long time
ago.
The
one that came the following year.
Yeah. But no. So he's going to have a week with like a game plan that he's helped have a say in. So that's going to be a big deal for him as well. And yeah, I think he is going to be confident because I thought he played confident in that game. To Corey's point about the North Alabama game, when you go back and watch those throws, the way he stepped into the throws, the way he sat in the pocket, stepped up in the pocket. I mean, if you didn't know the situation and you just watched him play in the second half again, man, I thought it was super impressive.
So here's the thing. We all know, because we were talking him up, as Corey alluded to, there are days he's the best player at practice. There are days, at quarterback. Now, they're not consistent, and it's not every day. In fact, it's pretty rare because usually Jordan Travis is the best quarterback at practice. But there are days Tate is, and he makes certain throws where you go, holy moly. It's just that he hasn't always done it in a game. And if he is going to be the guy that took over the other night against North Alabama and played with great confidence, or he's going to be the guy that shook off the interception against Louisville on the road in a game in which you're trailing and then led them to a victory, making a couple of really insane throws, rolling to his right across his body downfield to Johnny Wilson on a big throw. He made some great throws in his career. If he's that guy from the jump in this game, you're going to be excited about Florida State's offense because there will be more verticality to it. He does have that ability, and he can challenge an entire field of a defense. So you can get excited about it. It doesn't, again, it's not a knock on Jordan. It's a compliment to Tate. We'll see if he is. I suspect he's going to play pretty well if he can survive the first 7 to 10 minutes of that game.
Yeah.
If he gets out of that without making any crazy mistakes or anything like that, or if the line doesn't protect him and he gets hit hard twice early or something where your head starts spinning, if he can survive that early, I think he'll make throws, he'll make plays. He's got plenty of guys to throw to. They just got to keep him upright.
And they have a great screen game. They always have, and that really helps a quarterback trying to get his footing.
Bruce writes, if we go, or Nate writes, if we go 13-0, do we get keg stands from Corey and Jeff again, and maybe Don Julio from Ira simultaneously?
Well, I didn't do a keg stand last year. I'll do a shot of Tito's though. How about that? That's exciting. Okay.
I'll do another keg stand. I liked it.
If I'm breaking out the funnel again, I need a do-over. I need a take two. I need a mulligan on my funneling.
In fairness to you, Ira, it had been years. You're a grown-up. You're not exactly funneling every Saturday. Well, I mean, how would you have been? It'd been a minute.
But yeah, I need some redemption.
So it wasn't your best effort, but it had been a long time.
And Jeff, I don't know if you realize this, but if Florida State wins on Saturday, I have to sing Seminole Wind during the Warchant rap to Ira. I'm going to sing it to Ira.
The whole song? The whole song?
No, I got to learn a verse. I think I'm going to do a verse.
You only know the chorus.
And I only know the first part of the chorus.
He doesn't even know the words to the
I know
chorus.
Blow like you're never going to blow again. I mean, I've got that sign in my bedroom.
You've known that. You've known that forever.
I mean, that's how I live my life. But after that, I don't even know what comes after that. So I've got to learn the words.
So many people are appreciative. That's the way you live your life.
Dance like nobody's watching.
Oh,
and blow like you're never going to blow again.
Infernal writes, aloha, gents. Time for the big picture questions that matter. Why does the band only seem to play the war chant on 2nd and 4th downs on defense? I've noticed this trend on the TV feed the last couple of weeks.
That's a good question. I think it's because they want you to be loud on 3rd down. And they do get loud, and they do the music, and they have the sign going. And, I love the war chant. It's awesome. Grew up with it. It's not as loud as 70,000 people screaming at the top of their lungs.
Right.
So on 3rd down, I think you want people to get loud. It's 3rd down.
No, you don't have to do that.
Bong.
What I'll tell you this. The war chant is an unbiased observer. When I came here and covered a Florida State games before I covered Florida State full time, the power of the war chant to me is it's like just body blows. It's like Rocky Top at Tennessee.
Yeah. Just over time.
Man, just stop. Just stop.
Over time. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a one moment thing. Like you said, like 4th down. Yeah. It's not as powerful as just screaming, but yeah, man, it's just when you get it going and it doesn't stop. And that to me is a feel like maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like we don't get that as much as we used to, where it was just, man, incessant.
When I went to Neyland to see a game with Tennessee, it was troublesome.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Dude,
they don't stop.
It's a 2-yard run setting up 2nd and 8.
They love it. Every first down.
They do
it for like every first down. Yeah, it kind of the war chant is it's haunting and it's relentless. you want it to be kind of relentless. And you're right, Ira. We haven't sat in the stands like Jeff has, but it's hard to mix in the war chant when you got to play Who Let the Dogs Out for 7 seconds after a 2-yard run.
I like this Pearl Jam's Jeremy.
I like this next question quite a bit because I agree with this here right off the bat. We'll see if you boys do. Ward to Dunn writes, replace Marcus Outson with Tate Rodemaker. Does the 98 team beat Tennessee? You're God.
Oh my God, like a drum.
Like a drum. That game, I'm not even kidding. That game's not close. That game ended up being a 7-point game, and we had the worst quarterback in Florida State history.
What if you replace? Well, come on now. Don't besmirch.
Oh
Rooster
no,
like that. He beat the Gators,
buddy. I'm not rescinding that.
He beat the Gators. I know. Peter Wark had something to do with it. But Marcus Outson was the quarterback. He had some scrambles. But yeah, I would say Tate Rodemaker is better than Marcus Outson.
I got a quick story. I was going to tell you this, guys, after it happened, but I didn't. I was flying back. The last time I flew, flying back from Pittsburgh, I was at a layover or flying to Pittsburgh. I was at a layover in Charlotte in a little restaurant bar during my layover. And there's a guy that comes in. He's really loud, and he's telling everybody he's going to Tennessee that weekend for the 25th reunion of the national championship team.
Oh,
he's a decent-sized guy. And so somebody asked him, did you play? And he's like, no, I was a cheerleader. And so then he literally, his life has never been as good as it was when he was a cheerleader from that 1998 Tennessee national championship team. He told at least 4 different people in that bar about, one person would leave, like they'd had enough, and they'd leave, and somebody else would sit down.
Done. He wasn't done.
And it was just, and we had T. Martin, and we did this. And I want to say, yeah, man, you're also playing against Marcus Outson.
Thank you. You should have said it, Ira. I would have said it. There would have been a fight in that freaking bar.
He never brought up old Marcus Outson.
Yeah, he didn't bring that up conveniently. By the way, the rest of Ward to Dunn's question here was good too. He said, hey, man, this FSU team, 11-0 for the 6th time in school history from 5-7 2 years ago.
Yeah.
This is really remarkable. Love the show, guys. Thanks. Thank you, Ward to Dunn.
Well said.
We agree. This has been a lot of fun to cover and to document.
B-Rad writes, thanks, Dr. Birch. We know Mike will devise a game plan on offense for Tate. We will see the D have a different plan at the start of the game, i.e. pressure this new starter rather than wait on making the halftime adjustments. We'll see, even though that needs to happen too, right, guys? Yeah, I do think I'd get after this guy right off the bat. I'm stopping the run. I've got 8 people standing up there. You're going to have to prove to me that you can make the throws. Maybe he can.
Yeah, one question I have is, and we probably won't know, we may not know till Saturday, is whether or not Renardo Green's available.
That's huge.
He did leave that game. Now, Azaria has been playing great.
Yes.
But I think a lot of us, if you were going to have 2 of them out there, you might rather have Azaria and Renardo. But it's, so that's one thing. Just because Pearsall is a threat, the other receiver is a threat. Yeah, so you just don't want to get too carried away.
Yeah, Pearsall's been really, really good. Don writes, do you believe we may ever see us spread out the line and players on short and go versus crowding the box with 18 to 20 guys standing a foot away from us? He wants us to spread people out on short yardage situations. So.
Oh yeah. I would do that too. It's not they're terrible in short yardage. They have been.
Yeah.
And apparently I forgot all about that play. On Tate's first drive, they got down to, they had a 2nd and goal at the 1, and he ends up getting sacked for a 5-yard loss because he
turned the wrong way. No, I went back and watched it, and he definitely did.
They got to clean some things up.
Yeah, he had at least 2 plays where he either went the wrong way or had a miscommunication about what the play was. So, but I don't know if it's all. I assume. Well, he did say it's. I couldn't tell for sure if it was the back or Tate, but he said it was the quarterback turned the wrong way
because he bumped into him, and then he could have still run in for the touchdown, and then backed out and got sacked, and it was pretty gross.
R.A. Andrews writes, gentlemen, have a blessed Thanksgiving. JT actually reminds me of Danny McManus overcoming a lot to become an all-time great and lead the start of a new era and no more playing teams from Alabama from here on out.
Yeah, amen. Amen. They were not a fan of that coach. It would.
By the way, that coach can go to hell.
Yeah,
yes,
that was crazy. Yeah.
It turns out I didn't realize this till after when I looked up his, just trying to find out who this jack off is when I went after the game.
What were you going to say that you paused?
And I went back and read his bio. He was an analyst on the 13 Auburn team that lost to the Noles in the national championship.
Bitter.
might
call that timeout and get a field goal in here, boys.
He's also used to walk-off field goal returns.
Man,
he's lived that life. That happens to him once a decade. That was calling a timeout. Like Papuchis, talking to him Monday, the special teams coordinator, was still mad about it. He was seething, and he's like, he even said it got under my skin. And he goes, when you decide to kick a field goal at that moment, you get what you get. Basically, like you got exactly what you deserved, which is absolutely 100% true. It was crazy. I thought maybe throw it a fade. That's fine. You're trying to get a kid a touchdown and doke. That's cool. That happens. Not that nonsense coming out for a field goal.
Calling a timeout, coming out for a field goal. When it was blocked, I said earlier today, I was watching our guys run down there, and I was hoping that they would turn and headhunt. I wanted them to, I wanted to take people out with that nonsense.
Ira cheered. Ira openly cheered in the press box.
Yeah, Jeff, you missed it.
I've heard him.
You missed it,
Literally
Jeff.
did.
A moment of unprofessionalism from Ira.
First time in my life. When it got blocked, I started clapping. And then when Quindarius picked up and ran it back, I literally started yelling.
I was like, go. Do not slow down. Go, Quindarius.
Ira was like Jordan Travis in his hospital bed. Go.
I was, because it wasn't just that decision. It was the whole game. The guy bitched and moaned every call that didn't go his way. He was constantly screaming at everybody. I mean, man,
you could also tell in a weird way, Norvell wasn't exactly fired up that every trick play the offense had, they ran. It's like, man, can't you just come here and take? You already knocked out our quarterback. Yeah. Can't you just take the check and get out of here? And he didn't. So he got a ass whooping.
Yeah. Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues.
Step into the heart of Tallahassee at the Challenger Learning Center for Impact Week 2023, November 13th through the 17th, and experience our community's dynamic energy firsthand. With a lineup of workshops, panels, and professional speakers, you'll have opportunities to network, engage, and collaborate with industry experts, business owners, entrepreneurs, and there will even be free professional headshots and more. To learn more about the event, see a list of topics and talks, and to register for free, go to impactweek.info.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can pull them to the test.
Your heating and air conditioning system doesn't check with you before it takes a break. That's why we're always ready to help. Any day, anytime, anywhere. And with our annual service agreement, there are no overtime charges. Ever. At Verno Heating and Air, we will always be there for you.
Barry knows heating and air conditioning.
License CC 1816186.
The leaves are starting to fall, the temperatures will start to fall, and the prices are falling right now at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas. Incredible dealer discounts up to $5,000 are available on all hot spring spas, the industry leader in hot tubs and spas. If you've never experienced the sensation and relaxation of having your own hot tub in your backyard on a cool evening, you're truly missing out. The cold months are coming, and now's the time to set yourself up for the best winter season you've ever had. Plus, you'll gain the added health benefits of reduced stress, relief of sore muscles, and better sleep. You'll feel so relaxed after a nice soak in your new hot spring spa. You'll experience some of the best sleep of your life. Head over to Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas on Greer Road and check out their huge showroom packed with the best selection of hot tubs and spas available. And ask about getting up to $5,000 in discount, low interest financing, and a free accessory to make your hot tub dreams come true. If you're ready to relax, Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is ready to show you how.
Excellence defines us, so we'll never let orthopedic pain and injury define you. TOC is a physician-led team of fellowship-trained specialists, providing the highest level of orthopedic care in the region. With 12 centers of excellence and TOC Now urgent care clinics, our patients access affordable, expert care fast. TOC, only experts. Schedule an appointment at teamtoc.com.
I'm Caleb. I'm the lawn supervisor at Paul's Termite and Pest Control, and I really do love my job. Paul's has created an incredible work environment that always puts our customers' needs first. Their needs are our concerns, and my particular job of improving the health of North Florida lawns is something I truly enjoy. I'm an outdoor person, and I get to be outside all day watching the lawns run through the stages full of weeds to weedless to lush, grass-filled landscapes is very rewarding. I'm proud to represent Paul's.
I'm Jay.
Having the privilege to work with people like Caleb and all of our employees is truly an honor. There is no doubt that the staff of Paul's Termite and Pest Control is the best in our industry. All of our people are local, and local really does mean something. We're North Floridians. Our kids go to school here. We shop here. We build relationships here, and we honor our commitments. To all of our customers, thanks for trusting us to protect your family, pets, and home.
For the elimination of termites, any other pests, and a greener lawn too, call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey.
All right, next headliner question. Thoughts on Corey having the ability to ask Mike program-defining questions? He may have done it yet again today.
Yeah, I told Ira I felt like I was dancing with him when I asked him about I basically said, like, do you use this as a rallying cry that nobody believes in this program? Nobody believes in this particular team anymore. And it really is kind of them against everybody else, unlike the slappy school in Ann Arbor, obviously a very good school, Michigan. But what's going on there is absolute, utter nonsense. You were not persecuted. You earned the persecution.
Yeah.
But that nobody believes in him anymore. And his answer to that I thought was really good. It was another it was another Norvell gem. And again, probably a minute and a half answer, Ira, would you say, that last question?
No clue.
You're not even listening. And it was, if he's not asking the question, he's off. It was unbroken eye contact between me and Norvell for a minute and a half.
Was he trying to use that as a...
Well, the thing about Corey is he hasn't realized that that's how Norvell answers every question. He stares at the person he's talking to.
No, but
it's only when he asks the question.
But the 90 seconds or the 3 minutes, that's what gets a little
It
uncomfortable.
wasn't 3 minutes.
No, I'm saying the Syracuse one was. The Syracuse one
Why
was
are we still...
4 minutes, and then this one was about 90 seconds, and that's a long time to stare at someone.
Do you blink and look the other way, or do you lock it in?
No, I start licking my lips.
I bet he likes that.
I know Ira doesn't.
It gets uncomfortable for all involved. Timmy writes, if you're Mike Norvell, the quarterback room, do you do the same thing like pre-22? Don't go to the portal for a quarterback and stick with Tate as your starter for next season. Well, I don't think you go to the portal for a couple of reasons. First of all, you've got Cromanhawk coming in. You've got Brock Glenn, who I think is going to be a very good player. And then you've got Tate, who's been here for 105 years. Who's the quarterback that you're bringing in that you're guaranteeing is going to appreciably change whatever record you're projecting Florida State to have next year? Florida State's not a national championship contender going into next year, in all likelihood, unless they really hit some home runs in the portal. I don't see that changing. I think they can be a really good team. They can be a candidate to win the ACC. They can make the college football playoff next year, but it is a bit of a transition year. Who are you bringing in at quarterback that it would be worth alienating those other guys on your roster right now? Who's the quarterback? I don't see that.
It'd have to be somebody awesome, Jeff. We don't know who's going to be in the portal, but it could be somebody awesome. Somebody awesome could be in the portal.
Yeah, anybody awesome that you're talking about that is that upper echelon guy right now. Who is he? Where is he? Is Bo Nix isn't transferring here. He's already done it. I mean, the guys you're talking, Caleb Williams is going to the NFL. I mean, who's coming? Name him.
One guy out there that I think is a possibility. If Mike Elko leaves Duke, is Riley Leonard? Riley Leonard could be a possibility.
How's that taste, Jeff? You want Riley Leonard or Brock Glenn?
Yeah, yes, this all-world quarterback, Riley Leonard. You're right.
Well, I think you get, to me, it's like there's two scenarios. I would not say that they're not going to be interested in a quarterback. I think that that has to be on the table is a possibility. But I think there's two scenarios you would consider doing it. One is if a proven starter came to you and said, I want to play in that offense, I want to play for Mike Norvell, and you're risking the fact that Tate Rodemaker would probably leave at that point. If you weren't sold on Tate Rodemaker, then I think that's one scenario because, man, again, we like Brock Glenn, but he is going to be a redshirt freshman. I don't know.
Who, by the way, has missed most of this year practicing.
Due to an injury, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if you had a proven starter, like a clear-cut guy, then I think you'd have to consider it. The other end of the spectrum is if it was a guy that if you still thought Tate could be the guy, maybe you get a developmental guy. So it wouldn't shock me if they took one. I just don't know if you would take one that wasn't a sure thing. If you wanted to keep Tate.
Yeah, and my point would be too, I looked ahead at next year. I mean, we don't know. You're right. We don't know everybody that's going to be in the portal, but there aren't a lot of the upper echelon guys right now that are even eligible to come in here because they've already done it once, a lot of them. A lot of the best players, like Drake May is going to the NFL, guys. He's not going to be like, hey,
nobody's sitting here saying Drake May is a possibility.
But
somebody from I don't know because I don't follow all the best quarterback. All the quarterbacks I know are all leaving.
Like I think Miami
people, they are all leaving.
Like people think Miami might get the kid from Washington State because he's from down there, I believe.
The Ward kid?
Yeah, Cam
Yeah,
Ward.
I wouldn't. I don't think he's no. See, that's what I mean. The caliber of kids that I've seen on the list that would be maybe apt to transfer are not these guys that are can't miss. That aren't these guys that are you're like, oh, that guy is a lot better.
Well,
than Tate
I think the reality is, again, we can call it what we want. If it all depends on what Tate looks like.
Yeah, he's got to play well.
If Tate doesn't look like he's the guy over these next 2 weeks, I promise you the portal is going to be open because you can't just go into next season thinking, well, we'll just roll out Brock Glenn. Literally, he's thrown 4 passes in his career. You want him to be the guy, but again, you don't know that he's the guy because he hasn't practiced much. So you haven't gotten to see the development. So that's why I think it would be on the table if Rodemaker doesn't look good.
If Tate plays terribly, I'll grant you that there's maybe a possibility that you would go look at somebody. Even then, I think the pickings are slim. There aren't a lot of guys that I've been able to identify so far. And I did this because I was trying to figure out if they would do it, and I wanted to make an argument against it or for it for the show. And then the more I looked, the more I was like, there aren't guys that you're just kind of like it was obvious for a lot of people that this guy would go transfer here and this guy would go transfer here. Going into last season, we knew about 4 or 5 guys where it made a lot of sense. I don't think you have it this year. Now, there's always somebody that's going to be available, but nobody that leaps off the page right now.
Well, I was saying on the flip side of it, though, if Tate plays really well, then man, I don't know. I don't think you do go
zero chance you do it if Tate plays
you wouldn't
really
do
well.
it then. Yeah, you'd have confidence in your quarterback.
Yeah. I would be really surprised if that happened. If Tate plays well, there'd be no reason to do it. You're right. Michael writes, it's nearly impossible to not talk about Jordan and the impact he's had on this team. He's the epitome of sportsmanship and overcoming adversity. I'm proud to be a Nole. On another note, the CW should be banned from ever entering Doak Campbell Stadium. I blame them, and may God have mercy on all their souls.
Nice.
Sounds good.
A little unreasonable. Maybe
I can't name another show on the CW. Ira, do you watch it?
Dawson's Creek, buddy.
That's not on anymore.
I assume it's like a lot of 90210 reruns. That's the only thing I assume.
That's probably good. Or Buffy. Was it Buffy the Vampire Slayer on CW?
I thought that was USA Network.
Oh, good question.
Carlos writes, I went back and watched Tate's play on Saturday. He looked really good. I forgot that he had that big of an arm. Do you think he can get us wins in the next 2 games? Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, Corey, real quick, Corey, I brought this up on Jeff's show. I was on Jeff's show on Monday.
On Monday, you were. Okay,
cool. It was the Monday edition, Corey.
And
nice.
I'm going to say Mondays are your most popular shows. I think that's your most. I think those are the numbers bear that out.
Yeah, probably that 220 to 235
that's
window
where it peaks.
in there.
That's where it peaks.
Right in there, yeah.
But no, one of the things I said to Jeff was, I think if you took away the whole scenario, like all the what happened, that Jordan, if you just beamed down to this planet on Saturday and looked at these 2 teams and you looked at this offense, these guys, Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, Trey Benson, Jaheim Bell, all those guys, and Tate Rodemaker at quarterback versus Florida's offense with their quarterback. And then these 2 defenses, I think you'd say Florida State is a prohibitive favorite in that game. I think.
Yeah. Why do I have to beam down from another planet?
Well, if you didn't know the circuit, I think there's a perception that, as we mentioned earlier, there's like this huge drop-off without Jordan Travis. What I'm saying is Tate Rodemaker in 2020 with that offense was one thing.
Yeah.
Tate Rodemaker with these weapons is a completely different thing. And I'm just saying, like, I think you might see some of these playmakers have huge days with Tate at quarterback. And I don't see, like, to me, I think Florida State should be a bigger favorite than they are. I think it's like 6.5 now. I know it's played at the Swamp, but I just think you've got a quarterback with a big arm with the talent he's got around him against that defense, man, I think I like Florida State a lot in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I just think it comes down to, is he going to play a solid game and not make horrible mistakes?
I just don't think we've. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
And I say that
I'm much more confident in this offense against that defense than I am their offense against this defense. To me, 6.5 seems. I may have to open up my Hard Rock Sportsbook account.
Yeah,
this
man,
week.
get on it,
buddy.
Hey, so life again.
I'm going to do you guys one better because I know that you don't follow it as closely as I do. You're right, Ira. The line is 6.5 for Florida State. You know the early line is already out on Florida State Louisville.
Okay.
What do you think it is? What do you think it is, boys? Now, obviously the books have the knowledge that it's going to be Tate Rodemaker, so there you go.
I would say 9.
Okay. What do you got, Ira?
I'm at 7.
It's 6.
Oh,
so it's under a touchdown. And I'm laying under a touchdown against Florida, and I'm probably laying under a touchdown against Louisville at this point. I do respect Coach Braum a lot. I thought he did a great job at Purdue with what you have at Purdue. I think he's obviously done an amazing job in year 1 at Louisville. Yeah. I mean, goodness, they were picked 8th. They're probably going to be 11-1 when they face Florida State. So they've had quite a year. So they'll be prepared and they'll play well. But that quarterback doesn't move me. I feel like Florida State's defense will get stops against Louisville's offense, something Miami couldn't do, which was surprising to me because Miami's defense is pretty good.
Yeah.
But they really crushed it utilizing the tight end against Miami. I think Florida State can shut that down. So it will be fascinating. But Florida State is, even with a backup quarterback, 6.5 and 6 point favorites respectively in the next 2 weeks, which is, I think, a testament to how good Florida State's been.
I was going to say, because it's not the Jordan Travis show. Like he was great. He is the most important person in this program other than Norvell the last 4 years. We get it, but they still have plenty of other dudes besides him. And I think that's kind of, we talk about galvanizing. I think that can be galvanizing. Let's go prove to the world that we're not just number 13, because they aren't. They're a lot more than that.
Corey, you have any idea what Georgia's favored by over Georgia Tech? Who, by the way, credit to Georgia Tech. Sweet Jesus, man. That guy's done a good job.
They made a bowl. That's going to be a tough game in Ireland.
No, it's not. But
it is, and it won't be that tough with Riley Leonard under center, but it will be if Brock Glenn's taking snaps. A friend just texted me and said,
Corey hated Brock Glenn so bad.
I don't believe in freshman quarterbacks. I had Georgia minus 24. Is that right?
You looked it up, yeah.
No, I had a friend text me.
So
I guess I technically did. I looked at my text, but yeah.
What year is Georgia's quarterback?
He's an underclassman. I think he's a sophomore, redshirt sophomore.
Redshirt sophomore or true sophomore?
I think a redshirt sophomore.
Man, so he's been around a while.
Yeah, and he's better than I was hoping he'd end up being.
Carson Beck is going to get drafted in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft after next season, Corey.
That's what kind of gave me pause about this whole championship chase anyway, is that it looks like Georgia's turned into what they've been the last 2 years. They look really, really tough to beat.
That is correct.
That it's tough. So, hey, here goes nothing, gang. Just get to the playoff, get to the dance, see what happens. They could get food poisoning. Brock Bowers could opt out. He's tired of winning championships. Who knows? Get yourself a chance. Just get yourself in there and get yourself a chance.
Just win the next 2 games and move on up to the 3 seed line. And
that would be nice too. Yeah. Well,
better.
Ira, what would you rather do? Just from a whole general perspective, play Georgia in the semifinals in New Orleans, or play Michigan in Pasadena? Everything involved, the travel, being away from the family, the environment, the game, the matchup. What would you prefer?
I would rather I'd rather have a game in New Orleans. And if you're going to lose to Georgia, to me, it's not that big. Losing the semifinals or losing the championship game, it's not that big of a difference.
At least you're in New Orleans having fun.
But I wouldn't be you'd be unhappy if they went to California. I'd be fine with that too.
Yeah, but you would prefer the New Orleans. And also, you're going to have to beat Georgia eventually.
Right.
Well, but hold on. Before Jordan's injury, my argument was that you want Georgia in the first round in the semifinal game. You got 3 weeks to prepare for it as opposed to a week.
Yeah.
And I would much rather do that, but that was with Jordan. So that's a little bit tough. That was a little bit tough. We'll come back, wrap it up. Final headliner questions in a moment.
The weather is unpredictable and can cause issues around your home. Weston Treywick provides commercial, residential, and industrial electrical wiring services, yearly inspections on fire alarms, portable generator sales, and so much more. With 24/7 emergency service and repair, Weston Treywick will be your calm in the storm. Give them a call at 514-0003. Weston Treywick, professional electrical services day or night. Visit online at westontreywick.com.
The kids are back in school, and that means more homework, more projects, more research, and more screen time for the kids. These days, you can't get much done without using a phone, tablet, or computer, so you'll need all your devices working properly. Macklemore Systems is here to help. Not only can you get repairs, upgrades, and replacements, but you can also get expert advice, guidance, and consultations on how to maximize the use of your Apple gear. The Trapper Keepers are gone, and in this digital world, Macklemore Systems are your digital experts. Online at macklemoresystems.com.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey.
Waz writes, taking a shot of Don Julio for my man Ira. And then he went, ooh. If you guys had to draft your own team from the FSU championship teams only, who will have the best roster between you guys? Does Jeff go with a linebacker, Marvin Jones, with his first pick?
No, we'd all go with quarterbacks, I think.
Yeah, I would go with Jameis Winston, number one.
The beauty is that you could go Jameis number one and then get Marvin with your second pick.
Yeah.
And then Bolware after that.
Yeah.
And then Leroy Butler.
What are you trying to say, Corey? There have been some good players around here?
I think so. I was thinking, like, Leroy Butler and Walter Jones don't even have their numbers up on they haven't had their jerseys retired, and they're NFL Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy it hadn't happened. There's so many good players that have come through this program. By the way, I wanted to ask you real quick, because I mentioned licking lips earlier. Have you, either one of you, ever done that? Because we talked about winks before, and they're not seductive. Have you ever
No, I've never licked my lips at a girl, no.
Okay.
That's a weird thing to do.
Is that a thing? I've never done it either.
It's not a thing. I don't think that's a thing unless you're a serial killer.
Even then, you don't give it away that easily, right?
Are you a cannibal? What are you doing?
I'm just saying you're getting your lips moist and glistening.
No.
All right, next question.
I think I'm going to start doing it every time we're together, just to see if it gets you in the mood.
I'm going to run for the hills if I
think it lessens the impact, though, Ira, with us with the goatees. Like, Jeff's got more of a shorn face, freshly shorn face.
But it might make the whiskers glisten.
True, yeah. Lick your mustache.
All right. So Scott says 2 years ago, this UF team was in a similar situation going into our game in the swamp, bowl eligibility and all that. Jeff, I believe you said that the Gators' pregame shenanigans seemed to shook us and motivate them a little bit. Is this year's team mentally tough enough to rise above any of these mind games a desperate Gator team may try? Well, I would hope so. This is as veteran a group as you're going to have going down there, and you learned from it 2 years ago. And by the way, Miami tried to taunt you into nonsense too.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is you had a great example 2 weeks ago where Miami, I love the fact that they got some personal foul stupidity in their loss the other day, because
it cost them. That Hail Mary would have been in the end zone if they hadn't been backed up because of their personal fouls.
And a lot of it's crap that should have happened the week before. They should have been called for. You walk up to a quarterback and snatch his necklace off right in front of a referee.
That was
Nothing
bizarre.
at all. I mean, there was cheap shots after play after cheap shot after play, trying to bait FSU into fights, and they never. And I'll give Florida State credit. On the one hand, I'm kind of like, at some point somebody needs to take 20 out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Could have busted that ass.
But you also give him credit for not taking the bait. But yeah, 2 years ago, that is exactly what happened in that game 2 years ago.
It's so funny you bring this up, because I am not above this. I am below this. I am not a principled man in this way. I will try to hurt somebody in a game of football, especially if they cross that line, and they are habitual line steppers. And my point was, If you don't give up that stupid touchdown where Noles closes his eyes and dives into the stands for no reason, if you don't do that and you have a 2-touchdown lead, you could have exacted your revenge in the waning moments of that game. But because it became a 7-point game, you really couldn't do it. And I was actually really bothered by that because I'm taking knees. We're not doing that nonsense, man.
You're not talking about the knees they should have taken against Georgia Tech.
No,
you're talking about you're taking out.
Somebody's getting taken out. There was a bunch of nonsense that wasn't called. There was even an obvious one that they reviewed that was clearly targeting. I don't even believe in targeting. It was targeting. Until I saw the Pitt BC game.
And my gosh, that was the all-time.
That's the greatest target ever.
That should have been ejected for the entire year. Like if you
and
get
next year, Corey.
That's what I'm saying. You're ejected from the sport.
It looked like he was trying to hit a header in soccer.
It was crazy.
That was crazy.
Speaking of that, though, about that very topic, Alex Atkins had a really good comment about he was playing at the Swamp was brought up, and he's like, yeah, a lot of these guys have been there before, and he goes, I thought last time we were there, we got too over emotional with some of the stuff they did. Florida was having a bad season, then they were going through a coaching change, and we got over emotional. And he goes, and that we were just trying to be bowl eligible. He goes, I like these problems a lot better than those problems from 2 years ago, which was funny. Like he's like, I like living in this world where we're hoping to get to 12-0 as opposed to being bowl eligible.
Row 99 writes, or Row 999 writes, good afternoon, gentlemen, and Corey. Quarter one, if FSU finishes the season undefeated, will Corey give us a hearty hour number 2? Question number 2, thoughts on how quickly Elko could right the ship in Miami if that were to occur. I think he'd turn Miami around in 2 seasons. Well, he's not going to Miami, so don't worry about it. And then as far as that hearty hour number 2, Corey, your answer to that?
For undefeated, no, because I'm doing Seminole Wind. Maybe if they get to New Orleans, I'll do it. I feel like that warrants one if they make the playoff, right? Don't you guys think that warrants hour number 2?
I agree.
So, but it has to be New Orleans. Otherwise, I'm going to be too upset about having to fly that I don't know I can give my full weight behind it. But yeah, if they go to New Orleans for the playoffs, that's an hour number 2 waiting to happen.
Perfect.
By the way, Noel Tidy wants to know if you've ever considered stuffing your bird with register sausage, because he is.
Oh, is he? All right. Well,
he said he's considering. He wants to know if we've ever considered.
No, it's a good
consideration.
Now.
Especially, you know what, man? I remember talking to Kim. Well, registers in some stovetop in that bird.
And don't even cook it.
Don't ruin it with the stovetop. I dog it, man.
The stovetop's gross. But just raw. And try it with the raw sausage, too. Like raw dog it. Raw dog your turkey with some registered sausage. I think we figured out a new motto, gang. Ben,
can you turn off his mic? Can you turn off his mic?
It's about to be goodbye. He's trying to get run. He's complaining about balls and strikes. This is what he's doing.
He wants to go to the showers.
Would you take a guaranteed win in one of the next 2 games? That would mean a win over your rival or an ACC championship, or would you risk it all and say you got to play both with no knowledge of the outcome?
Win them both. They're going to win them both.
No
They're going
knowledge.
to win both.
Yeah,
I'm confident, guys. I'm bullish. I'm bullish on these Noles.
How about
I would risk it. I'm not going to just take the one win. No. I think they can win both these games. I'm not saying they will, but they could easily. Yes.
What if you could only win one of the next 2?
So Tom and I talked about this today, and this is a
Monday.
tough. It's on Monday. You're right. On Monday, everybody. This is a tough thing, man. I never want to lose to Florida, of course, but it would somewhat be understandable. You do want to win the ACC championship and take it back. We told everybody before the year you wanted to. I can't believe I'm saying this. I think I'd take the win over Louisville and the loss to Florida.
I also think it could be a really cool moment if they beat Louisville and up on that stage, Jordan Travis is there. I assume he'd be there at that game. You'd get to cheer for him one last time. They're not going to have a podium up in the middle of the Swamp if Tate Rodemaker wins to go 12-0. So I don't know. I think
but think about it from the other way. You're giving them the ability to think that they ruined your season.
But they know they didn't, because they know that we would have beat them by 50 if Jordan Travis played. Man, come on. They can say that. I'd be like, good, you went 6-6. Good job.
You got to go to a bowl. It's tough.
It's tough.
Look, either way, you're not going to the playoff. And that ACC,
No,
your what 16th ACC championship is that big of a deal?
It's been a minute.
Whatever.
I'm tired of these ACC pitches. It's time.
Beat Florida, and at least you have that going for you.
Probably right. That's probably the right answer. Yeah. Right.
Listen, I know what the right answer is if I walk into the stadium. If I walk into the stadium and I see the clash of colors and I'm reminded of yesteryear, I know I'm thinking about this conversation going, what's wrong with you, Jeff? That's what's happening to me when I walk in the stadium. But as we sit here this evening, a little bit of downtroddenness still lingering from what happened Saturday night. I'm kind of like, I want to win that conference championship, man.
Yeah.
I just want a title. I just want a ring.
I want my damn title. I said all year long I was trying to taunt those people at the ACC meetings. Yeah. You can hate us all you want, but we're your only hope. We're your only hope. Highest rated, best overall. Everything about us is greater than anything in this damn conference.
Yep. But still, you want to win at the Swamp.
They're going to win them both. Tate's going to be the man.
Tate's going to win 4 in a row.
Hey, Ben, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to you. Corey and Ira, happy Thanksgiving to you boys.
Eat some pie, people. Eat some pie.
Yeah, get a lot of pie over the long holiday weekend and do all that good stuff. Yeah. Until next week, be well, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving, and